I would argue that reform with Chinese characteristics, socialism with Chinese characteristics, really means the private sector. The private sector drives China's economy every way you look at it. It's about 90% of urban employment. It's most of the tax revenue. It's most of the innovation, most of the wealth creation. And Xi Jinping has been talking about his focus on new productive forces, advanced technology and manufacturing. And that's really all driven by the private sector as well. If we look at the globally important Chinese battery makers, 13 out of the 15 are privately owned. If we look at the largest 10 EV producers, 7 are privately owned. If we look at AI, the 8 most significant startups there are privately run. So really, Xi Jinping's future, the Chinese economy's future, is dependent on the private sector. So I think what he needs to do is restore confidence there. And that really means something along the lines of what Deng Xiaoping did in 1984 and 1992, where he persuaded small business people, which drive the Chinese economy, that their success and failure was going to be based on their own business acumen and their skills and how the market went. And it wasn't going to be about the government or the party pulling the rug out from under them. And people have that fear now. And Xi Jinping needs to get out and restore confidence.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Andy. It's different to what we saw under Deng Xiaoping, arguably, in the sense that, he wanted people to get rich, and subsequently we did see an economic miracle take place. But, President Xi Jinping is really in the business of common prosperity, and I know that has put some people on edge. And, I know what you're saying about the new productive forces as well. I've just come back from the World Economic Forum, and one of the conversations I was having, which was really interesting, is that MNCs are no longer going into China to then manufacture and export their products. They're actually playing a part in the Chinese story. So when you say confidence, what have these people, what have these companies, what have investors really got to hear to feel good about taking part in that story? How convincing is it?
Yeah, it's difficult as a foreigner to say exactly what they need to hear. I think Xi Jinping needs to work that out with the private sector, with the business community there. But I would guess that what they really need to hear is that the regulatory environment, including the common prosperity elements of it, are going to be implemented in a way which doesn't get in the way of business. So what business people have had to deal with so far are regulatory changes like in August of 2020, the 3 red lines in the property market, which sent the housing market into a recession. The policies that were designed to improve equal access to healthcare and education and Social Security, but sent the platform companies into a tailspin. The policies from the government that destroyed overnight the for-profit education businesses. These, I think, were policy errors that were not designed to cause that kind of economic chaos, and they need to go back and fix those. So I'm hopeful, because we did see a first step in May where the government came out and finally acknowledged that they had made mistakes in the property sector and announced policies which are designed to try and fix that. And the market has responded. In June, the property market stabilized a little bit compared to May. They have to do a lot more. But now we need to see Xi Jinping come back like he did with property in May and take the steps and say the things that private businesses are waiting to hear from him so that they can be comfortable investing in their own businesses and hiring in their own businesses.